Hello everybody and welcome to Topson. I am William Lebowski and today we are racing a car that I didn't even know existed until I found out this morning watching a Sim Racing 604 video where Mike explained to me that this car existed and that it was a lot of fun. I went to the race department link that you could also find in the description of this video below as well, and I downloaded the car. I threw in some of those karting tracks or miniaturized versions of Grand Prix tracks, and I went to town and I didn't look back. I didn't regret it. I had a lot of fun, and I highly recommend everybody else pause this video, go download those cars, come back, and then let's talk about them as that video is down, or as those downloads are going. But they're a great experience to drive, and they're coming to me at a very, very good point where I've kind of been feeling I need to go back a little bit in terms of what I'm driving, scale down a little bit, hone in on my skills, and what kind of better way to do that than by being in a Formula Student car. And they transfer really, really well to these miniaturized versions of Spa, Australia, and Barcelona. And so I'm going to be spending some time here, in this Formula student car for the next couple of days, just kind of getting my sea legs back after being away from sim racing for a long period of time. Just kind of get used to what it's like to have that manually operated car, and here is some of that progress. Let me know if you guys would be interested in an endurance race. The start line of a Formula student race, you can always expect big things. But I have just discovered this car through Mike from Sim Racing 604, and it's kind of coming at the perfect time for me because I've really been needing some kind of sim racing shake-up, some kind of something new in sim racing, and it wasn't because even at this point in time I'd been grinding the same old thing for too long. That really wasn't the problem, because I had just had to, take away an involuntary break from sim racing for like 3 weeks. And so I was coming back into it, and I just wasn't finding my groove, whether it be with Topson in the making videos or whether it be on the actual fake track itself. And I was just even having trouble getting back into my iRacing career and series, and all of that combined, and also including just being way off the pace for Endurance League R-Factor 2 races. And so just all of this combined, I'm just really looking for something fresh right now when it comes to sim racing. And I had not heard of these until earlier today. I didn't know that this car existed, so I didn't know that this sim version existed either, and it's such a fantastic sim car. Obviously, I know nothing about the real car itself, but you can always just tell when a sim car has been made to the very highest of standards, and this is one of those cars, and how much it reacts to the way you drive it, how much it reacts to setup changes, how much it reacts to changes in the environment itself. It's a very well-made car, lots of attention to detail. Because of that, it gives you so much rewarding, fun, and very, I'm not going to say like high skill racing, but when the cars are so basic and are very, for the purpose of learning everything, as far as a kart, they strip it down to some pretty simple basics. It really becomes a lot more just about being able to drive the car, and like you just saw, being able to react to situations like that, and it makes the experience of driving the car a lot more fun, as opposed to just, all right, so now we do the same thing here in our GT3 car, and we control our assist in this way, and then on this section of the track we can let them up a little bit, and it's just a off-the-wall type of sim racing that I really needed to experience. See, as the car is starting to heat up, we can start getting a lot more aggressive and carry a lot more momentum through these corners. Of course, as I say that, we carry too much and go off the edge, but going full gas through that last corner there, and not even going through the brakes on these two corners, you know that there's speed to find. I just got to get around to this guy. that the move? Is that going to be the move? Let's see. Looks like it was not the move. But maybe we can get something going in the chicane here. Oh, I did not mean a punterino. The braking zones in this car is something I have yet to figure out because they're incredibly short. This car stops very, very, very quickly. It is very small and very light, and the brakes are very powerful. Let's see, there we go. Stuck to his ass on that one. Oh, meant to get around him before giving him the punterino. Oh, I'm sorry, pal. I did not mean to punch him away like that. That was a mistake. The AI have these braking zones a lot more dialed in than I do. On the bright side now, we got a lot of clear track ahead of us. And also, I don't know if you've noticed by now, we are racing at a miniaturized version of Spa, which is what really makes this racing so immersive and so amazing and so well are the tracks, if we're being fair. Because if we were to take these cars and put them on any other tracks that we have access to, aside from some of the karting tracks in ACC, we would probably be pretty disappointed. You know, this at Daytona Speedway wouldn't work out too well. It's just too slow of a car to really drive there. So there are also released with this are miniaturized versions of some famous tracks like Barcelona, Australia, Melbourne, the F1 circuit, and of course Spa. And then there are also some other just amazing karting tracks, like one in VIR, one in like the Carolina karting track or something like that. And so there is some good sim racing kart track content that can be moved over, or not moved over, but repurposed for these Formula Student style races. And the racing, as you can see, is a lot closer. It's a lot more fun. It's a lot more manually powered, so to say. And because of that, there's just so much pureness and pure fun to be had in it. There is, see, we got the nice line through there. Although he gets inside through this section of course, but we take the position. All right, now we just have 4 laps. I messed that one up. Now we just have 4 laps to get one position for the lead. You can really start throwing this car around the corners to get past this guy. Ooh, do not want to bump him. Okay. Not quite make it there. Surely someone's going to take this lead from me if I'm going to keep driving like that. But now that we have some track, we can really kind of showcase what this car can do at the limit. Because it's nice to show it off in traffic. It races a lot of... It races really... I don't know how well I can say that, especially distracted, you know, taking away any power I have to focus on my vocabulary is spent focused on not intentionally binning it or something like that, or unintentionally binning it. But now that we got a little bit of space here, you can see that this car is not just one that is fun to drive slow and beat up around in the pack and drive close to one another. That's another thing. If you noticed how close that you were able to drive comfortably to the other AI, which was really nice, because not only does that mean the AI are done really well for this mod, but it also means that you can have closer racing in all sorts of types when it comes to the race, when it comes to what's comfortable on the track, and then when it comes to performance and time-wise. And again, it just makes it that much more rewarding because you think you're when you're that close, it's gonna be like a make-or-break situation. But in order to not have a frustrating experience like that, they have to go. The risk has to be smaller, and so the risk is small enough when you're racing at these slow speeds, that you can have some really amazing technical battles. But as we can start to see now, it is forgiving, of course, like you would expect a student kind of car to be. And you can kind of see that in the turns that I'm making and in the ability to regain its control. And not only that, you do have to be careful about braking and downshifting. You gotta make sure that you get your braking zones right for it, because braking in the center of corners or mid-corner with such a light car with such heavy-duty brakes usually will result in spinning it. And speaking of spinning it, corners downshifting, it requires blips, otherwise you will of course spin it again. And so these manual elements do, you know, add to that experience of being like, oh, when you're making it through these, you know, corners successfully with, you know, blipping it, being close to other competitors, it does add to the experience. And it, you know, I do feel like it is making me more conscious and aware of the processes of racing and driving a car fast and at the limit. And because of that, you know, it does build my skill set, so to say, towards driving other cars, and it makes me more acutely aware of what I'm doing, especially when it comes to braking and throttling and downshifting and my weight movements and line choices through corners. Oh, we already need gas. Those really small tanks. 9 laps and we're already getting a gas warning. But that does remind me, speaking of, ooh, way off course here. Alright, let's see how much of a lead we had here. I was forewarned that the AI were a little bit slow, so it looks like I did not set them nearly as high as they needed to be. If I can boost that anymore, I can. I think I have them. I have it set higher than I normally would, but it's. I guess I should have you know, boosted a little bit more, especially if I was going to try to be competitive of any sort. Yeah, the AI need to be boosted a lot. But one thing I'm considering is I want to do some kind of like endurance race with these. Like, how fun would it be to have like a 24-hour race with these kind of Formula style cars, or fake Formula go-kart style cars rather. Or just like an hour-long race, or a 30-minute, 24-hour kind of cycle. I don't know what kind of thing I could put together, or maybe even some sort of multiplayer race if other people become interested in something like that. But I think these would be not only hysterical, but like really, really fun to race for long distances or long periods of time. And especially how you can really smoothly chain these corners together. It's really fun. Like you can sit here and do this for a long time, and I have, just getting in the groove of just less throttle, more throttle, less throttle, more throttle, blips and stuff like. Oh, of course, as I say that. Wow, these guys were really far away. Oh wait, no, somebody already passed me? Somebody else is on the lead now? Okay, good for them, finally. But I do have hopes for doing something more endurance-based with these in the future. If other people are interested, that would be actually super awesome. It's nice that we finally got the tires all the way warm at some point in this race, but too bad we just kept bidding it over and over again. That is my race. I really needed this. I recommend you guys check it out. Hopefully, if you guys haven't noticed, it'll be linked in the description below, and we'll see you in the next one.